Dear followers, dear colleagues, this is the camera. Welcome to episode 46. So, what started last year with interviews with authors of the International Journal of Aesthetic Dentistry has gone beyond that. And it's my great pleasure to have Panos Bazos, one of my closest friends, and I see that you wear sunglasses today, so you have a nice suntan. It's really my great pleasure to have you for the second time. Last time with Sasha Heim and Javier Tapia, but this time we will chat together about projects, ideas, and many things. So hello and welcome, Panos.
Good evening from Greece, Alessandro. It's always a pleasure to be in your company. Thank you for the invitation. And indeed, I was in the sun all day long. I apologize for this, sunglass tan line.
It's not a problem.
Beautiful weather.
It's not a problem.
Enjoying it. Vitamin D.
So as always, we start with the first question, and I know many out there know who Panos Bazos is, but some might not know. And so, Panos, the stage is yours to give us a short introduction and tell us a little bit more about you and your career.
Me and my career. Well, I'm 47 years old. I was born in Los Angeles, California. I was raised there until I was 9 years old. My parents emigrated back to Greece because they are from Greece. I finished my high school education in Greece, and then I further continued my college education in the United States. Graduated from the University of Southern California in Los Angeles in the year 2000. And then I returned to Greece. I had a military obligation to serve as a Greek national as well. I was fortunate enough at some point in my career in 2004 to become an assistant professor at the University of Southern California for 3 years, where I was very fortunate to work in close collaboration with Dr. Pascal Magnet and Mr. Michel Magnet, which was the biggest defining moment of my restorative career. Then I returned to Greece. I set up a practice in the center of Athens, which focused primarily on restorative and adhesive-based rehabilitations. I did that for about 6 years, if I recall correctly, and then I decided to make the transition from my restorative career into my orthodontic career. Studying at the University of Edinburgh up in Scotland, I received in 2016 my orthodontic specialty training and became a member of the Royal Colleges of Edinburgh. And I returned to Greece. I took a sabbatical for 3 years, and last year I started my orthodontic practice.
Wow, that sounds great. So a globetrotter in all sense of the word, especially dental globetrotters, because I know a lot of dentists, they finish dental school, then maybe they do 1, 2, 3 years somewhere, and then they open their own practice, and that's it for the rest of their life. So you're not that guy of just sitting in your dental office, treating patients and being a little bit narrow-minded, as many dentists out there are. So a topic that everybody also is curious about is, what is bioemulation all about? So this is a discussion, and this is a questions I often get, especially when I was presenting when I'm presenting the Bioemulation group members in a slide in my presentations. Then I get the questions, how can we get into this group? What is this group all about? So maybe you can enlighten us a little bit and give us some insights about this group and the secrets behind.
The secrets. No secrets. No, there are no secrets. Bioemulation essentially is a neologism. It is a phrase that was created by myself and under the influence of Pascal Magnet. It's a compound word, bios and emulation. So bios is the Greek word for life. Emulation is from emulare, Latin word for to rival. So to rival life. It started out as a coined term in 2008. And essentially it's about biomimetically emulating nature via histoanatomy, understanding histoanatomy of the natural dentition on the optical and structural levels, and trying to correlate what current biomaterials we have at the time so we can create a biomimetic restorative approach. So this what was created as a concept. It was being shared amongst some colleagues, and we had the idea with Gianfranco Politano and Javier Tapia Guadix to create a small society out of it. And essentially, if I were to give a definition today of what the Bioemulation group stands for, it's more like a creative global think tank of colleagues, meaning that there are dentists, there are dental technicians, there are some dentists who are focused more on the clinical aspects, others are focused a little bit more on the research aspects. And we have discussions, closed discussions, not very open to the public. And we come up with postulations and we share ideas. That's all it is. And at the same time, it's been bestowed as an honor society of a sense, because it's kind of peer selection. So hopefully this is going to grow organically in the future. I consider it more like being an ecosystem of sorts amongst colleagues, to share ideas and to explore and expand upon, the evolution of the dental profession holistically. It started more restoratively in the beginning, but I think the future of it is going to be inter and multidisciplinary approaches amongst the dental field.
Because I remember that there were some bioemulation meetings in Santorini, in Berlin. Then I think the movement slowed down a little bit if watching from outside. And everybody's like waiting for what is coming next. What are
many things are coming next. And again, it's the organic growth of the COVID-19 pandemic definitely has slowed down our aspirations and our goals. But in the future, I can guarantee that there are going to be more colloquiums and more symposiums, more of an academic-based program. It's going to expand, hopefully as an educational platform. We have amazing talent within the group, many whom are phenomenal educators, so they get their point across. If I had a motto about what a bioemulation educator can do, is it can take a dentist and hone its skills and create the better version of himself or herself. So definitely you're going to see more activity in the future, and we don't know when or how, because of this chaotic pandemic. We just need to be very patient right now before we start expanding again.
Absolutely. Because we talked about the pandemic situation before we started the live interview. Maybe 2 years ago, nobody thought what would happen, how life and the world would have been changed by this virus. And it's not a special virus. Basically, it's influenza, but in a new format. Influenza, which is around for thousands of years. And having you here, there's a interesting and great book about the Spanish flu. The book is called The Pale Rider. And for everybody out there, if you didn't, this is something you have to read, because it reflects what's happening now. So what happened during this Spanish flu happens now exactly again. And there are some descriptions. For example, I think not Socrates, one of these Greek guys described a pandemic for the first time, so 300 years before Christ.
Okay.
And it came so the pandemic comes once in a century.
Mm-hmm.
On
average,
often in the 20s. So it was 1917, now it's 2019, 2020. And then at the end of a century, we have another pandemic. So in the 80s, in the 1980s, it was Ebola and other things. And these are all repeating. It's interesting that all these pandemics are repeating for thousands of years now. And in the 1200, there was an influenza pandemic in Europe that killed 25 million people, which was a huge amount of the population. The lands were not being cultivated anymore because all the farmers died. trees were growing on the grounds, and we had a decrease of the temperature because of all the trees growing. There was like a small ice age caused by the pandemic. So you see the impact of a disease on a global scale. So, but coming back, what do you think was or is the impact of this situation on the dental world, on the educational world?
Well, I think there's a tremendous impact on multiple scales and levels. I've seen that there's been an explosion on online education, which I think is a fantastic tool, but I don't think it's the sole tool of education. I believe in blended education. I believe that people need to visit live and meet in person, and we're social beings, so the human touch is still very important to me. In consideration, we can educate through the internet or through the distance. But it shouldn't be the sole representation of education. If we look at the academic status of university students who are in their clinical years in dentistry, the fourth and the fifth clinical years in Europe, maybe the fourth senior year in the United States, if we think what the impact was on the level of education, I think it was significant. I think there are many young clinicians right now who have graduated recently who perhaps have not honed their skills to the level that they deserve. And they might have to seek continuous education. It might take them a little bit longer to develop. So the psychological profile, the frustration of all this unknown factors, the vaccination, whether it should be mandatory or not, can you be vaccinated or can you be unvaccinated? It's polarizing the society, our patient pools. So it goes much beyond education. We're in uncharted territories, as you said, once every 100 years, and it fell now in the 20s, right? So I think the chips are still up in the air. I think nobody's an expert or can profess what's going to occur, but we need to be patient. We need to be cognizant. We need to be knowledgeable. We need to practice safe practices to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and the community, obviously. So a perseverance right now. I think we need to persevere on the daily basis and not lose faith or hope. Definitely, the internet has connected us and brought us closer to each other. But there's an amazing sensation when you get to go to an educational program or symposium or colloquium, when you get to meet your colleagues and see them face to face. That's one of the reasons you haven't seen any major activity with us doing any symposiums or heavy educational programs. We are hoping for normalcy to come a little bit faster, a little bit closer to do blended education. I think it's super important to be present one-on-one or in a live audience. Very important for me.
Okay, so but overall, the education territories will change. I recently read also articles from different countries. They were saying, look, now we have switched to what you call blended learning. So we do more online education, we do more off-site trainings to prepare people better for the shorter hands-on training. I had a chat with people from Straumann, and Straumann, for example, is pushing a lot virtual reality training, especially obviously in the field of implant dentistry. And I saw what they are doing, and it's amazing. So the limitations are now wearing this Oculus glasses, the 3D glasses, is the controllers that are not so fine to really allow fine movements with sharp instruments. But overall, it really helps also to educate the assistants. So it's a very cool thing that you go in as a dentist and then you say, okay, let my assistant also get involved in all this, and then you can really train yourself. What do you need? And with the idea of when you then go to the on-site training and put the implant in the pig jaw or whatever, in any artificial bone, then you know what you're doing. So what do you think? Do you also feel this change that in the past years was like a little bit blocked. And now all of a sudden, in 2 year time, a lot of development happened because it was like forced to happen.
Yeah. I think it kind of the pandemic is a catalyst in a sense that we do have to learn how to work in the distance. And I do agree. I'm a very high proponent of blended learning. I think that some things can be didactic and they can be from the distance. Some things are more hands-on and they need to be done in proximity. I am a big proponent of that, and I hope that this is going to be the new model. Now, I'm all about the 3 E's. I'm into economy. So if people don't have to travel that much, and they can have it at the convenience of their practice or their home, the education is fantastic. I'm a big proponent of efficiency and of effectiveness. So for me, it all makes sense. I just don't think that we have to go to extremes as being either one or the other, but to try to combine and find the Venn diagram, all the positive of both worlds. So this is the new standard for me. That's I'm completely in congruence with what's going on in the global education right now.
Yeah, we will come back to virtual reality a little bit later, but now I would go back to what you explained in short words. What happened with your dental career, and I'm really curious. I'm
still
really
developing.
curious. No, yeah. It never. Look, education never stops or never ends. I know we know that, but tell me or tell us a little bit more why you did this switch from prosthodontist to orthodontics.
Well, I cannot consider myself a prosthodontist because that's a recognized specialty, a 3-year specialty. So I'm more of a restorative dentist, or a bondodontist, an adhesive dentist. I peaked out. I maxed out. I peaked out. I checked all the boxes. I was doing exactly what I wanted to do after my experience with Pascal Magnet back in 2004 and 2007, working in collaboration also with his brother Michel, which for me was a career-defining time. I felt limitless in that realm, which was the adhesive realm. It was when you had some amazing breakthroughs. Francesca with her 3-step techniques, Pascal with the immediate dent and sealing, and the amazing book that was published in 2002, which is being revised and is going to be published right now in 2021. At the end of the year, we're going to have the New Testament, as I call it. It's going to be a double book, 888 pages of amazingness, anteriors, posteriors, the adhesive approach, the biomimetic restorative approach. There's only so much you can do in that realm, and I felt that I needed to have a broader scope. At the same time, back in 2011, we had the arrival of our first daughter, Theodora, and in 2014, my son came about, Sklerkos, and I just felt that growth and development was so important, and I always felt that I wanted to have an augmented scope. And I was definitely inspired by a team of inter and multidisciplinary specialists in Italy, Renato Cocconi and Mirko Rifaini. Renato Cocconi is an orthodontist and Mirko Rifaini is a maxillofacial surgeon. I saw the scope of their work, and if you have also a restorative background, it just makes so much more sense. And I decided that I wanted to get involved in more complex and complicated treatment modalities, and do the clinical work, but at the same time, hopefully, if I'm lucky enough in my career, being able to teach this as well to the general dental audience and the subspecialties as well. So multiple reasons made sense. Also, I wanted a more flexible business hours for my career, and orthodontics provides that. So I had to be very realistic at some point in my life with children coming into the equation. Because I think that's my primary mission is to be a father, to lead by example. So I need to have a more flexible schedule as well, which orthodontics does provide.
Okay, there's always a saying between dentists that the orthodontists, they are the lucky group of dentists. They treat patients. Sometimes if they do a treatment, it works. If they don't do a treatment, it works. they don't care about care about. But I'm trying to be a little bit polemic, they don't care about aesthetics, they don't care about occlusion, they don't care. So nobody can blame them if at the end, if the treatment fails, it was nature or God or anybody else. If I fail with the restoration, no, because I just want to get some answers from your side. What are your thoughts? I know that it's not reality, but
No,
at the end,
my thoughts are simple. Everything starts at the treatment planning. Everything you have to be extremely thorough. You have to document immaculately. You have to understand growth and biology. You have to understand the limitations of the systems of your biomechanics. We're good. We're not God, obviously. But I think today you have to be a holistic orthodontist, meaning that aesthetics and function are of equal importance, and you have to deal with it accordingly. I am an orthodontist who comes from a restorative background, so articulation is very important as well. Occlusion is very important. Aesthetics is definitely very important, especially when catering to the selfie generation. Everything becomes all that much more important. So treatment planning is the paramount indication in embarking on an orthodontic treatment. And great interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary rapport, great communication skills with your restorative dentist or your periodontist. Everybody has to be on the same page. We need to create more blended educations, and also your general dentist, obviously, that everybody has the same goals and aspirations when we are collectively treatment planning. I mean, I was so inspired by, when I got out of school, by Vince Kokich, John Coyce, and Frank Spear. For me, these are the paradigm shifters. For me, these are the forefathers of all this facially generated treatment planning. Whether you're using an analog approach or whether you're using a digitally enhanced approach, that's just the instrument of choice, or a blended approach in many cases. But the tenets, also I have to mention David Sarver, who did all the dental facial analysis. Edward McLaren has been a great influence in my wife and my personal life as well. These colleagues have blended, the disciplines, and they've co-treatment planned. And it's really advanced education. We need to get back into that. It doesn't matter the instrumentation. I'm a proponent for technology. I'm fully digital. I have my own 3D printer. I can do my own in-house aligners if needed. I can treatment plan virtually as well, but I like to do blended things. I still like the physical realm because the patient is physical. So collectively, it's about the knowledge base that you have, which is continuously expanding. And you need to surround yourself with amazing clinicians and research, gurus. Know the evidence, learn from our past mistakes. Every day is a challenge. I think it's a struggle. It's an educational struggle. There's too much information. Trying to filter through this information is extremely time consuming. So you need to have the right sources. I know that opinion is probably the lowest on the whole pyramid of evidence and knowledge, but I beg to differ on this. It depends whose opinion you're taking. If I ask Pascal Magnier or Marco Gresnik with regards to adhesion and what's going on today in that realm, I am going to get, from their opinion, the most solid evidence of 2021. It's going to be better than many meta analyses because the guys are at the cutting edge. So it depends whose opinion you're taking. It's a leap of faith, but you need to look at the track record as well. So
yeah, but my question was more leading. It looks, if we look at the development of dentistry, where are we heading to? So it looks that in many countries, orthodontics is a very lucrative business in the dental field. So how do you see that the tendency? If we say in Switzerland we have a lot of prevention, so we had a high growth of dentists, and we had over exponential growth of orthodontists in Switzerland. So the number of orthodontists doubled or tripled, I don't know, because a lot of people now is going for aligners. It's like something chic and trendy to get the straight teeth. So, but I see that this was not your decision to say, okay, this is now something trendy. I can make easily money and sell aligners to my patients.
Mhm.
So how I understood your thinking process, it's orthodontics is
Yeah,
a part in the treatment planning thing, and in also but also in the solution. So if you don't
correct.
involve different specialties and especially orthodontists in your treatment, then you tend to cut unnecessarily teeth or extract teeth, place implants, and do whatever
Yeah.
without thinking about other possibilities. Was this also something that drove you to this decision?
Definitely, to make an apt example, I want to consider myself as a Swiss Army knife, for other people, that I can provide multiple solutions when needed. So this is one of my convictions. I speak the restorative language. Perhaps I can convey the orthodontic language as well, and I can become a bridge. With regards to being driven by lucrative practice, that wasn't a consideration. Everybody is driven by something in life, and it's not a personal opinion here, but I hope everybody aspires and reaches their goals. But I think it's a fringe benefit, the whole financial gains. I think you can achieve the same in restorative dentistry if you position yourself very well, or periodontics, endodontics, oral maxillofacial. All these have the potential to be very lucrative. I cannot say that an orthodontist is more successful financially than somebody else. It's about personal truth and seeking the goal and your path that you take, and everybody has a different path. I've been very fortunate. Because I had my parents were very generous with me because they funded my education, my private education in the United States, which means that I didn't have to take these massive student loans, and it gave me the freedom of geography. At one point, I'm still licensed in the United States. I was licensed up until last year in the United Kingdom. I'm licensed in Europe. I'm one of the very few professionals that I know of who have official licensing in 2 continents and can, transition if they want. So geography was never an issue for me. The issue is about choosing where you want to live and be an integral part of your local society, and try to do as best as you can to serve those in need. I mean, it's very clear to me, if we all do that, the world is going to become a better place automatically.
So, but if you would go back at the beginning of your dental education, we will come at the end what your recommendation for young dentists or young colleagues are. But if you could turn back the wheel of time,
Yeah.
what would you do? Would you follow the same path, or would you change something? So this is interesting because you made the switch from doing. I know other colleagues that did several specializations, because they told me I was not sure if orthodontic is my thing. I was not sure if placing implant is my thing. I was not sure if doing crown and bridge is my thing. And they ended up doing, I don't know how many different specializations, finding or trying to find their way, or what they really have fun also doing. So, but if you would
Yeah,
if you would
it's
go
it's
back in time, what
interesting.
would you do anything different?
I wouldn't do anything different. I wouldn't have any regrets on the path that I've taken, because it's been very generous. Dentistry has been extremely generous to me. Dentistry has given me the opportunity to travel around the world several times, meet amazing colleagues, meet amazing cultures. It's provided me like a global passport. It's given me a platform to share my ideas, to be an author, to collaborate with people that I didn't deserve to collaborate with, for sure. So I think it'd be extremely harsh on all these favorable conditions to say that I regret something upon my path and I would change it. At some points in my life, I should have been more disciplined. I can definitely tell you that. Sometimes I focused a little bit too much on the small picture. I didn't see the big picture. And you need to have a global awareness, I think. So don't be tunnel visioned. That's something that maybe I could have told my young self, and don't be
Yeah,
that hard on
but
yourself.
yeah, but I see that this is something inherent with our profession. So we have
Possibly.
a very focused education. It's tough. It's not an easy education you have going through all the dental school and all the trainings and everything. And I think a lot of dentists leave university with a very narrow,
Yeah.
with a tunnel vision of uh, jumping on their patient teeth
Mhm.
and trying to do what they have learned, or to use all the tools they have learned. And I see that I think also it's very important to get a larger vision,
Mhm.
and maybe also take your time to find your way, and never be too narrow minded.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's why I also love the idea of bioemulation, and I really would love to see more coming out of this think tank. I like that
it
word.
will, it will, it will. All in good time, all in good
I
time.
like that word. So this leads me to the next question. So Panos, please share a little bit insights of your plans for the future, or do you have any plan?
Um,
Do you have any
many,
plan?
many plans. I'm still working on my vocation, which is orthodontics. It takes time to achieve a certain level of expertise. So I have at least 5 more years, minimally, before I can start being very confident to share my results with the dental community. Um, Education is definitely going to be not only a personal plan, but also a plan of many members of the Bioemulation group. And mentorship is going to be very important as well. So we're coming of age. We're nearing, the mid-century. It's time to give back to the profession that has so generally given to us. So mentorship is very important right now.
So these basically are the plans without telling us too much, or is
Without
there any?
revealing too much, correct? I'm a little tight-lipped on that. I have to apologize for that. But many exciting plans. Some come to fruition. Some never leave the drawing board. Obviously, we're not a professional organization in the sense that we have any amazing funding. It's all self-funded, and we take time out of our lives and out of our personal family time in order to cultivate this organic group. And any time is generous time and appreciated. So we don't really have such a strict program on that. So.
Yeah, because I had a discussion with a friend recently, and he told me the most precious thing on earth is time.
By far, irrefutable.
Because
We
it's
never have
time
enough
time
time.
time is running. The older you get, the faster it's running.
Yeah,
And we have such
paradox of
a
time.
small, a tiny time lapse. We are almost like this, I don't know how you call them in English, these flies that only live 24 hours. They
And
have, yeah, I forgot the
well,
name, but you know them. They have to do everything in
I don't know.
24 hours.
Yeah, I
We
know.
have
Yeah.
at least 80 years or 90 years, or the younger generation might have 100 years to fulfill their dreams and enjoy their life. But yes, time is something that we have to be aware of.
I agree.
And but I have to tell you, since I know you for some years now. For me, you always have been a source of inspiration, because I think you have so many things, so many ideas in your brain. And Panos, you should get them out a little bit more.
The curious mind. Curious mind can be a dangerous mind. It's all about time management. It's all about me still managing a very young family, which is my priority. And then once we manage that and we get that under control, then I'm going to dedicate more time in the profession and in the collective experience, which we call,
Okay.
sharing the knowledge. But definitely, thank you very much. I don't know if I've inspired, but you have definitely inspired myself. You've been one of my mentors. I was inspired by your Nikon portfolio with my photography when I was a neophyte. I even bought exactly the same equipment back in 2002, which you were using. And you definitely put me on the proper path. Thank you very much for that. And I was able to excel, and hopefully one day maybe inspire a little bit the younger generation would be fantastic.
No, you are an inspiration, but I want to tell you, you have to set your mind a little bit more free.
Okay. I'm taking
Just
that into serious consideration. Let loose completely. Okay.
No, because talking to you, not here in the interview, but talking to you, I feel so much. Your brain is constantly working, and many of these ideas should come out and be shared with the, not only the dental community. I think you have a lot of potential to really change something and give something to all of us. So just a side comment, Panos.
A political career.
Feel
You see a
proud.
political
Feel
career in
proud.
my future?
Yeah, you can feel proud. I felt saying this, you know what I mean? Because this really comes from the bottom
Thank
of
you,
my
and
heart, and I want
appreciate
to
your
tell
kind words.
everybody out there, Panos, you're one of my best friends.
Thank you. I feel the same, Alessandro. This is the way, obviously.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Absolutely.
And no, because I just want to thrive. Before we go to the last question about your recommendation for young colleagues out there, Jean-Michel, he's an inspiration for us. So you see, he's confirming.
Jean is an inspiration. Jean, I hope I'm blessed with the longevity of John, and to have the passion that John has and the love for his vocation. He shares it very generously. He shares it selflessly. Jean is iconic. Jean Meyer from Marseille in France is just an exceptional and a special human being. And I'm so happy to have met him along this path. And there are many like Jean, but there's only one Jean.
Well said. So I just want to thrive a thing we have discussed, and something that I'm working now almost for 2 years. I sent you the, let's say, a pre-release of this Photoshoot VR thing, that the app that I'm developing. So here the screenshot of how the game look, because it's about gamification of learning. So this was the concept that's behind all this, and it will be the start doing this with photography. So you can we have learning modules, we have modules where you can game, and gaming you learn photography. So Panos, maybe you can give me 2, 3. I know that the thing is a little bit buggy now. But
I am of the gaming generation, okay? I'm of the Atari console, and then we have our NES and our Nintendos and our PlayStations. This is the future for sure, okay? The gamification of education is, research shows that this is how we get it. We click, it's a really positive interaction. I think it expedites learning, it creates exciting platforms. VR is, if you haven't been involved with VR, I strongly suggest everybody to purchase an Oculus to get a first view of what VR beholds. Technologies are definitely going into this kind of realm. So whether we're going to have our own avatars, or we're going to be doing virtual classrooms, I believe in the 3-dimensionality of it, into the immersion as an experience, into the interactivity. I know with Javi and yourself and myself, we all are Oculus users, and we communicate on that platform as well. But I commend you on spearheading this initiative. And today, maybe we're a little bit ahead of the curve, a little bit ahead of the future, but it's coming very quickly. So keep on steadfast, maintain your even keel in your course, and it's coming to us. And
yeah, because I saw when doing some prototypes for different dental companies that they were on one side amazed. surprised,
Yeah.
but had really difficulty to handle this. So the best was one company CEO telling me, Alessandro, our business is doing well. Why should we now invest in new technologies?
That's what Kodak said a long time ago. I think they regret saying that, obviously. Well, listen, the dental industry in general, on my experience, has been that it's a very conservative industry. They're not early adopters, they're laggards. So the companies that do adopt early are going to be the beneficiaries of this kind of technology for sure. It's a changing world. Apple's going to get involved in the game. Google tried to do this with their glass a little bit too soon, but once this goes mainstream, there is no stopping it. So being a first hand user and having experience in this kind of modality, I think that it's inevitable.
Absolutely. And as I told you, Straumann is heavily going in this direction, investing a lot.
Straumann's a leader. Straumann has always been a leader, so it doesn't surprise me.
And I was surprised about the other big companies not really going this path. So just if you explain them, it's cool. And we also are looking a little bit in augmented reality and virtual reality, but not really then pushing it. At the end, there was like the statements, we don't have budget for this. So we will see. So for me, this is an important piece of the puzzle. It's not the only thing, but it's something that really helps us to step up in education and in communication as well.
I agree. Looking forward to the further development of this program.
Absolutely. So let's because time is flying, so let's sum this up. And Panos, I really want to give you some minutes to tell the young colleagues out there what advice you can give them. You already have given some pieces, but do like a summary of what your advices would be for young colleagues out there.
There's only one real piece of advice if you want to have longevity: is fall in love with what you do. Fall in love with what you do and give yourself wholeheartedly. Have passion. Be ardent about it. Be enthusiastic, and please always maintain a curious mind. Question what is going on. Question the trends. Develop critical thinking in your approaches. And what I would really tell a young colleague today is try to surround yourself with positive people, enthusiastic, and if not, try to avoid the role models and try to find the mentors in your life. Mentorship, I think, is extremely important. When you have an experienced older colleague who has been on the block for 20 years, they can channel you and guide you into the correct direction from the beginning. And in that sense, you're not going to lose time on developing yourself professionally, spiritually, psychologically. I believe I was very fortunate to have found my mentors very quickly, for 3 or 4 years out of the game, out of dental school. And they, even to this day, they are still my mentors and my colleagues and my dear friends. So surround yourself with the catalysts that are going to optimize you and create the best version of yourself is what I would recommend. Be a perpetual student, because we're learning every day, but at the same time, be very critical and be very time cognizant as well. So it's very general. It sounds very generic. I understand that, but everybody, dances at a different drum beat. So everybody has to kind of self-reflect and find what suits them the best.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. And this reflects also, let's say, the most of the past interviews. So you name it, Pascal Magne, Baratieri, all of them were talking at the end about passion and love. So don't do anything that you're not feeling passionate about. If you feel that you don't have the love for it, then it might be better to surrender, to give up,
Change profession.
because this is
Find
then
happiness. Yeah.
because this is
Find happiness elsewhere.
the new discussion, not only in dentistry, about more and more people getting burnouts and depressions.
Mental health
and not
is very important. Mental health. You
Yeah.
know, you need to preserve your mental health at all costs. This shouldn't be a burden. It's a stressful profession. Every discipline in dentistry is stressful. Patients are stressed, dentists are stressed, staff is stressed, running a business is stressful. So you need to find moments of happiness. This can't be just a burden, or else your mental health will suffer. And it's good to surround yourself with colleagues that you can discuss this and openly, not be stigmatized by it. We all go through, our ups and downs. And my mentors have provided tremendous support over the years. When I was at a point of reflection or of a point of doubt, you need to have the courage to share this. And I still think it's a wonderful profession. I think it's very rewarding and it's very giving. So it takes a certain character to be able to persevere over time. But if you really think about it, everything is difficult in life. Nothing comes easy, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good final word. I want to thank you, Panos, for taking your time, being with us. So all out there. So I have to advertise also a little bit, not only my YouTube channel, but also my other social media account, Dentist Camera. So I have redefined my niche. Now I'm the photo, video, and social media doctor.
That's an interesting title.
Because I'm a real doctor,
Yes.
even though I'm a dentist. And I started with dental photography. And I was talking about the niche. And now I'm trying to digging the niche a little bit larger, adding video and also social media advices. And I think I'm the only photo, video, and social media doctor out there.
PVSM doctor.
Yeah, we have to then to define new things and everything. So, okay, so thank you very much. So
thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure once again.
You can stay with me. I will play the outro, and to all out there, wishing you a great evening, a great time. Thank you, Panos. This video will stay on YouTube. I will share it also on other platforms, that all of you out there who missed this interview will be able to watch it again. So stay tuned for more to come. This is the way.
This is the way.